Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terry Morrow and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week we are continuing with Veronica Mars Season 3 with Episode 10. And we also got to listen to the Veronica Mars Investigations podcast, which they're now doing 3 episodes at a time, so we can't talk about them every week. I continue to be sad that they have decided to make that choice. I completely understand wanting to get through this season as fast as possible, but it's just such a jumble. Mm-hmm. And the way they talk about it, just sort of, here's one plot line through all 3 things, and then here's another plot line through all 3 things. It's not like divided. They don't, each one. So I understand for their mental health it was necessary, but it does make it somewhat less fun to listen to. Mm-hmm. But anyway, starting out with the episode, I regret to inform you that the episode of Veronica Mars we watched was called Show Me the Monkey.
Yeah.
And it was mostly a case of the week about the theft of a monkey from a lab at the college. And what is this college? Do all colleges have, that sort of research set up?
I would think that the part of the distinction between college and university is, graduate studies and, research like this. So
yeah, I mean, if she was at Stanford, I would buy it. But this seems to be, the parameters of this university seem to shift depending on the needs of the plot in any given week.
Right. I mean, they only have a dean. They don't seem to have any other academic leadership,
And now they don't even have a dean. But,
exactly. Now they don't have a dean, and they jumped ahead by time. 6 weeks in this episode.
Yeah. Which is
so that they could say that the dean's death had been ruled a suicide, which we all know is not the case.
No, too easy. But but you were correct that he was indeed dead.
Yes, but I guess I wasn't correct that he dreamed the whole thing of going to the hotel.
Yeah, he apparently did that.
I think we're meant to know that it's not a suicide because he encountered someone in his office. He said, "What are you doing here?"
Right.
So it's someone he knew.
Yes, and also because we're only halfway through the season. And
yes, clearly they need they needed something else to do.
We're not wrapping everything up halfway through the season, I shouldn't think.
They also, by skipping ahead, and they've just they're done with, as far as we can tell, the rape storyline.
Yes.
The Mercer and Mo are gone forever. There were no consequences to Logan of being put in jail and beating the crap out of them.
Right.
So,
and
okay.
I also, by the end of this episode, Logan and Veronica are back together because she goes to him after having a conversation with Piz, who, as they mentioned on the Veronica Mars Investigations podcast, thinks he's having an entirely different conversation.
Exactly, Piz.
But Logan didn't go to her at some point after she was injured, right? She was injured in all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
He's just been keeping his distance.
And her face was kind of scraped up.
I realized he couldn't go to her immediately because he was in jail beating up Mercer and Mo, but I would think when he got out, he would go immediately and get back. It just seems like either this is a great romance and nothing's going to keep them apart, or it's not, but they seem to
change their mind about
they
that.
change their mind. Mm-hmm. So that's frustrating.
Well, we don't know what happened in the 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, maybe they made up and broke up again 2 or 3 times.
Right.
How do we know?
Oh boy.
So that is somewhat. I was hoping that we would come right back into the aftermath of those events, especially the Dean-related events as to who all was dead, basically. Mm-hmm. And as it turns out, we find here that while the Dean is indeed deceased, his wife and his wife's lover are very much alive and how much did I appreciate the scene in which Keith is trying to come on like some stranger to the criminology professor.
Yeah.
And he goes, man, you wrote a book. I know who you are. It's
and
like
I wrote
Neptune.
a book too. Maybe you should check it out.
Neptune's not that big a town. They were in the news, the Marses. They were in the news multiple times. There were trials in which they participated. He wrote a book. How do they, I mean, nobody seems to know who Veronica is at this college. And yet, she's still in her same town and she's extremely high profile.
Keith needed to dip into her costume closet, obviously, in order to try to get some information out of Professor Landry.
Really? You should have sent Vinny. That would have worked better. That was just, I was going, it wouldn't people know who Keith Moss is? What is what are you doing here, man? How do you think this is going to work?
Plus, even if he didn't, it was so clunky and terrible.
It really was.
You know, like, have you ever done anything? Like, I'm going to just spill it to some rando in a bar. Nope.
Yeah. So, and just to dispense with the case of the week, a monkey was stolen from the lab along with a bunch of rats, and Veronica and Mac and Mac's roommate, whose name is
Parker,
all sort of infiltrate this PETA-like organization on campus.
Animal rights.
Yes, because there is no end to the organizations on Hearst College. Every week, a different group.
There's like 500 students and 500 clubs and teams and activities.
How big can this student body be? Anyway, to try to find out if they indeed were responsible for it, and there's a cute boy who likes Mac, and Mac kind of goes back and forth because she's traumatized by Cassidy, but finally at the end, she kisses the cute boy, and so I guess cute boy is going to be around for a while, I hope, because he really is indeed a cute boy.
Yes.
Just like,
and a good
you
guy.
look through the headshots of the people, you know, if you have like keywords on the headshots, that guy, his keyword is cute boy.
Right.
Not threatening in any way at all, just a cute boy.
And an animal lover. He'll take care of your rats that are dropped on his doorstep.
And he seems very fond of his sister, which is
That was
nice.
Dumb. That whole plot, like that Mac and company show up at his door and he's with a girl. Oh, it's his sister. He wouldn't just say, this is Amy, my sister.
Especially if the girl who you like turns up at the door. Would you not hasten to say, hey sis,
bud.
These are the girls I met at the meeting the other day.
Yep.
TV. They think we've never watched TV before.
Exactly.
The people in charge of this show. So eventually it turns out that one of the lab guys is the one who stole the monkey because the monkey is adorable. The monkey is Marcel. It's Marcel.
I know,
Hi, Marcel.
It's Marcel from Friends. That was a nice tidbit to learn from the Veronica Mars Investigations podcast.
Those are monkeys that live for quite a long time, right? Those capuchins? Because Friends was a while ago.
Right.
Was Marcel a little baby monkey? I didn't watch Friends very much.
No, I don't think it was a baby.
Grown-up monkey? And now it's a senior monkey? I don't know. But whatever. It has not
But it's
lost
also
its
funny
charisma.
that there's just, that's the sum total of stunt monkeys in Hollywood. Like, I'm surprised they're not more.
Yeah. But holy cow, was that scene of the guy and the monkey just the most adorable thing. It looked like a Dodo video, you know?
Yes.
Guy at home with his monkey.
Straight chilling.
Yep. And Veronica returns the check and says, darn, couldn't find the monkey. And then learns that all she has done is sign the death warrant on another monkey.
A different monkey, yes.
A different monkey.
A new monkey from the monkey store.
We'll just order ourselves up another monkey there. Mm-hmm. Oh, dear. But maybe it won't be as charismatic a monkey. It'll just be...
ordinary monkey.
It'll be like a Dick monkey instead of a Marcel monkey.
As in Dick Casablanca.
Correct. Who just has been really amping up the comic relief this season. They're using that actor quite a lot just because, man, we got some heavy plots here. Let's just have Dick being Dick for about 5 minutes and then to cleanse our palate for the next thing.
And then move on to something else. Exactly.
He is so bad and so unapologetic about it. He's the junior version of, say, Vinny. You know, just somebody who's comfortable in their skin, not racked by self-awareness or guilt or anything, just living life.
Yes.
So, and getting Logan to do something that now that he's back with Veronica is likely to be awkward, but that's for another episode.
Mm-hmm.
So Keith is going to take on, the dean's wife has come to him saying, I don't believe my husband committed suicide, and also if he did, I'm out some money, so could you look into it? She's a real peach, isn't she?
Yeah. At least she didn't try to fake it. She just was like, I'm in it for the cash. So get on that.
I should have mentioned this last week, but the problem I have with all this plot line is, didn't they have a kid who was dying like 3 weeks ago? And
Yes.
the dean would do anything for this kid, even like suck the marrow out of his biological father's bones to give it to, so intense devotion to his wife's son. And then the following week it's like, you know, yeah, I think she's cheating on me. She never really, you know, she's just, it's like they're a completely different family than that episode. It doesn't fit.
And also, while your
weird.
child is hospitalized, is that the time that you're pursuing?
Yes. Well, I mean, could they just leave it, like, give it like 4 episodes before they go into this other plot line involving this family? And could they just not say, oh, the stress of caring for my son has made me want to seek other... It's just, it's like, it's completely forgotten. It's like wiped off the boards. This show.
So what is your...
So I was nursing a theory after last week's the episode where the dean was found dead at the end and supposedly had gone to shoot the professor and his wife. But so I was assuming that all 3 of them were dead and that the intended victim might have been the professor in this whole setup. But now it appears it's the dean. But I still think that now it could be in conjunction with the professor. Now that we know the professor knows who Keith Mars is, because who would not know who Keith Mars is? And if you know who Keith Mars is, you know who Veronica Mars is, even though you've been pretending like she's just this co-ed you've never heard of. Thinking about the fact that, what is the TA's name? Unlucky. What's his name?
I think it's Tim.
Tim? Okay.
Whatever. The TA.
The TA.
You know who you mean.
All right. I'm just going to call him Unlucky.
Yes.
Let's say he very, very carefully orchestrated it so that Veronica knew that the dean's wife was having an affair with the professor and what the name they used was so that Keith would have the name to look up and have this evidence. Mm-hmm. And assuming that the TA also knows who Veronica Mars is and knows who her father is and that her father is a private investigator, could have dropped, you know, if the dean was looking for some help with something, could have dropped the name if the dean didn't know it. But of course, why wouldn't the dean know it? But, you know, if you need a reason for why the dean hooked up with Keith Mars, you could believe that the TA mentioned it in some passing way. Right. And so that really was, Veronica having that information was really the trigger of the gun here. The fact that Keith was able to tell the dean what was going on is because the TA very carefully set it up for Veronica to know this information and figure that at some point she would give it to her father. Right. And also there was that scene where the TA called Veronica into his office, ostensibly to fix typos on her paper or something like that. But she noticed on the wall the 3 pictures circled. And then he introduced her to his girlfriend. Right. And then later on at the party, he comes in and finds his girlfriend and makes a big scene, which I'm thinking is going to be an alibi for him at some point. So he needed Veronica to know that this is his girlfriend. Also, the 3 people circled on the picture were the ones who were fooling around with her, I think. It was Dick and a couple of other guys. So the only reason I can see for that scene to exist is to set up kind of an alibi for him. So I'm thinking that he set this up somehow. It's because they were doing those perfect murder papers. Right. And this is like a perfect way to, and I don't know why he would want to kill the dean. I was thinking he would want to kill the professor, and this was a way to set it up. And that if the dean didn't kill the professor, he would sneak back and do it. And that's why he needed the alibi. But in fact, they didn't get killed. Right. So maybe for some reason he wanted to kill the dean. But I think he's got to be involved in it, either working by himself or working with the professor. That's my theory. Because the fact that he's the reason that Veronica knew that information, which is what set this all into motion. And also the fact that that scene has no real purpose other than to set up that girl is his girlfriend and that he might be jealous, and that's why he had circled the things, and that Veronica's going to exonerate him because of that.
Right. And then realize, like, there was no reason to show that girl as being like a random hookup of dicks.
Exactly.
Unless she was important.
Yeah, so that's got to be something to do with it. So I think this is his sort of perfect murder scenario to set all this stuff in motion, and either, you know, the dean would shoot himself or he would go and do it for him or something. I don't know.
Right.
But I think he's
but it's
in it.
It's pretty dumb of him to use the line from Veronica's paper.
Yeah, that does seem dumb, unless he's just...
As the suicide note, just to clarify.
Yeah, although I think that didn't the professor hang the paper up for anybody to see? So I guess he could say, you know, it doesn't prove that it's him.
Right.
And hopefully nobody will think it's her. But he would certainly have access to that information. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I don't trust that guy. No. And I also don't trust the professor. And although I do love him for, you know, having watched the first 2 seasons of the show.
Right. And being aware of what's going on.
Yes. Has nobody else been paying attention? How big a town is Neptune? My gosh. You would think the college would be all over it. I don't know. It's so weird. So we did find out what's from the Veronica Mars Investigations podcast. I guess what Spit and Eggs is that it was what was on the dean's car and presumably his window, just because before he said, what are you doing in here?
Yeah, so that they could throw a little bit of suspicion on the Lilith House ladies who...
Yes.
You know, I certainly don't think had
a convenient target.
Killing him.
Nope. But I'm sure Keith will get to the bottom of it. At the extensive peril to himself and to his daughter.
Yes.
But probably not for a few more episodes. We know there's going to be, at some point, there's going to be a flashback explaining things, because we know that Ed Begley Jr. is in one more episode. Okay. So, you know, being dead did not keep Lily from being a regular character in season 1. So
certainly not.
You know, yes. Whether he's in a flashback or a dream sequence or a talked through recreation of events, we'll get him in the explanation.
Yes. So. And I'm very glad to have this as the current overall plot instead of serial rape.
Absolutely. Please. Yeah, that's... Hey.
I mean, we liked Ed Begley. We liked the dean as a character, but if he had to die, we could have a new season plot, that's just you know, the price you pay, Ed Begley Jr.
Yes. Oh well, he could have come back, like, you know, as like in Veronica Mars Dreams. He could have been in every episode for the rest of the season. They could have said, like, you don't really think I shot myself. I would have typed something much more interesting than that for my suicide note.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anything else you want to say about this episode or the Veronica Mars Investigations episodes?
Not really. I definitely enjoyed having just a kind of a straight up case of the week.
Yeah.
You know, nobody in too much danger plot for once. And also, you know, the dream team of Mac, Parker, and Veronica.
That was adorable. Parker is just the spunkiest little thing, isn't she? I feel like taking Piz aside and saying, man, you will be so much happier with her than Veronica. There is only pain ahead with Veronica.
Exactly.
Parker is adorable. Go for it, man.
Go there.
What are you thinking? So next week, since Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is still on hiatus, come back and save us from having to watch 2 Veronica Mars episodes in a row. Will you please? We will watch episodes 11 and 12 of Veronica Mars Season 3, and I regret to inform you that their titles are Poughkeepsie Tramps and Thieves And there's got to be a morning after pill.
Ugh.
Really, stop. Somebody stop them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be it for our Round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terry.
Goodbye, everybody.